Okay, let's see what is upcasting and downcasting. This is very important concept in object-oriented programming, and it is very useful also. So, what is upcasting? So, upcasting means in inheritance, you can keep the object of subclass with the reference of the superclass variable. So like the definitions or description, you can say it is like storing the reference of subclass objects in a superclass reference variables. So in that case, upcasting straightforward is applicable, and the function call is decided at a runtime, and that's why it is known as a runtime polymorphism in case of upcasting. And downcasting is the reverse process. That means from the superclass object you have to retrieve the subclass object. Okay, so downcasting means you are not storing the object of superclass into the reference variable of subclass. It is not like that. You first have the object of the your subclass, but it is with the help of superclass reference variable, and you have to extract that object from that. It is known as downcasting. So we'll see one by one. So upcasting and downcasting are the important part of a Java, and which allows us to build a complicated programs using simple syntax. So this feature, that is using, just provide the simplicity to the application. The upcasting and downcasting is performed, and it gives a great advantage like a runtime polymorphism and the grouping the different objects. Okay, so let's just check the example of this. Is a class car which is having a speed limit 100, and Maruti is a car. Okay, but the speed limit of the Maruti is 150, and this is method overriding, correct? Public integer speed limit, public integer speed limit. Now two methods are available here. That is method overriding. This is a relationship. Signature is same, method name is same. Okay. In a testing class, the main method, now here the object is created like this. Look here, the car obj is equal to new Maruti. So what is meaning of this? Now the reference variable is of a type car, and the object is a type of Maruti. So this is a super type reference variable, and this object is a subclass object. Okay, that means you are storing the object of subclass into the reference of superclass with the help of superclass reference variable, and this process is known as an upcasting. So what is the benefit of this? First thing, now here look, integer num is equal to object dot speed limit. Now here speed limit method gets called, but can you tell me which speed limit method gets called? So this is the question. First thing, now you will say, sir, obj dot speed limit means obj is of a type car, and that's why the speed limit gets called from the car. So if you check this function call at a compile time, definitely speed limit pointer points to the speed limit of the car. Okay, so it points to the car method because reference variable of a type car, and that's why at a compile time this is pointing to the speed limit of the car. But at a runtime, when you execute the program, at a runtime the call is decided and the call is transferred to the speed limit of the Maruti, because in a Maruti the speed limit is available, and actually the obj is pointing to the object new Maruti, that is for the Maruti class. It is not for the car class. So how this happens? Because look, always remember the object created at a runtime, reference variables are created at a compile time, and that's why based on the reference type it decided the call at a compile time is speed limit from the car, but at a runtime it decides object is pointing to the actual object new Maruti, and new Maruti contains a speed limit, and that's why speed limit gets called from the Maruti, and this is known as the runtime polymorphism. Okay, so is now this is a runtime polymorphism and this is an upcasting. So what is the benefit of this? Suppose this is the multi-level inheritance hierarchy, and in that case uh, you want to provide a particular method and you want to call a method, but you you are not aware about which method you want to call at a runtime, because it depends on, suppose, user choice. Yes. So obviously object gets created at a runtime. That's why user, whatever option is provided by the user, the object is created on that basis, and on that basis method gets called. So for such a type, suppose you want to allow the speed limit for respective objects, and you want to provide only one method like a display, and and user provides a different objects at a runtime. It depends on the user choice. At that time, the display method gets called from the respective, it should call from the respective object. Okay. So for that, how you will write the method? So simply you have to write a display method, and parameter for the display method you have to pass a car obj. At a runtime, you can pass the object of Maruti or your truck or any XYZ. It depends on whatever subclasses are available. And at that time, whatever the runtime object is available, so it performs the upcasting, and upcasting, using the upcasting, the object variable give a call to your respective methods. Okay. So this simplicity, you can just take an advantage of this simplicity in Java using the upcasting. And that's why the complicated problems, or you can say complicated situations of the programming, um, that scenario you can handle using the upcasting. Okay. Employee. Okay, now let's see the example here. Tell me what it will print obj. Now look, in a person class, so you are having a toString. In employee class, that is super class for employee is a person, here also you are having a toString, and here the object is for the employee. So reference variable is for the employee, object is also for the employee, and obj gets printed. So obviously here the toString gets called from the employee. So it is straightforward, it is not upcasting, it is straightforward reference variable and object. Just check the output, and here is your output is a salary and then person. Okay. Now suppose I just modify it person. Okay. Look here, I use a person obj is equal to new employee. So it is upcasting. Yes, it's upcasting. Okay. Now tell me here which toString gets called as per your knowledge. So before to execute, I just move the cursor on obj. Just check here. So look, obj is showing from obj what? Obj is from the person. Yes. So this obj will consider a toString from the person. That is your opinion, correct? So I do like this. Okay, I straightforward, I go with a toString. Look at here, toString. Yes. So look here in IntelliJ also, it is showing that toString from the, that is a return type is string, and it is from the person class. It is obj.toString is from the person class, it is not from the employee class. Okay. Now so definitely here toString is called from person class, correct? Look here, person.toString. Just check in a person class what is the output for the toString. It is a person, it gives you ID, and it gives you the name of the person. Okay, only two entities it will show you. Now just come back to your testing class. Okay, and this is before this is before execution, this is at the time of compilation. Okay, now I execute the program. Now check the output. Okay, I execute the program. Now look here, employee, salary 50,000, person ID and name. But at before to execute this program, it is showing you person is this toString is from the person class, but this toString is gets called from the employee class. How it happens? Because actually the object is available in the obj variable, reference variable is of employee class, it is not of a person class. So it depends on which object is available inside your reference variable. So this call is decided at a runtime, and that's why it is known as a runtime polymorphism. So polymorphism is always, runtime polymorphism always depends on the decision taken at a runtime, which function gets called. It depends on the which type of object is available at the time of execution. Okay, so you have to just cross check it. Now how you will simplify? So you will say, sir, what is the use of this, correct? So we will take another example here. Suppose here I provide void display function, and I make it static because this is static method. I want to access display here directly. I remove this. Okay, and here I want to give a call display. Okay, and here I pass a obj. So look here, person obj, this is my type because obj type is a person, and here I just check it. If obj instance of employee, then what should I do it? So system dot out dot println obj. Okay, else you call again simply obj. So this is obj from which class? It depends at a runtime. So here what I checked, if the obj instance is for the employee class is available at a runtime, then it will call a this SOP, otherwise it will call a this SOP. So here I will go like this, employee, and here I will go like this, person. Okay, is it okay? Now just check here. I remove all these things. Now first object I just create the person obj1 is equal to new person. Okay, now I create a person obj2 is equal to new employee. It's 101, this one, okay, and I create a employee obj3 is equal to new employee, and this is what it's 102. This is an XYZ and 60,000. Okay, now here I want to just pass to the display. I'm to call a display. First object is this, second object is this, third object is this. Now I have only one method display and it is a type of person. So can I pass obj1 to this first thing? I can pass. Yes, it is not a syntax error. It works because it is a type of person. Okay. Can I pass obj2? Yes, I can pass it. Why? Obj2 is also type of person. Now look here. Can I pass obj3? It also applicable. Why? obj3 is a type of employee. But here when you pass obj3, so the object is now passed to the obj and obj is a type of person. Now basically it is like this. It's like this. So what is meaning of this? This is also upcasting. Are you getting what I am saying? At a runtime, whatever object you are passing, for all types of combination, this straightforward simple this method prototype is applicable. It is type of super type. Okay, so upcasting, why we give the super type reference variable in the method prototype? Because this object can contain any object of subclass of a person class. Okay, that means here suppose person class having the first is employee is your subclass, first level subclass. If I create another subclass, suppose I create, just check, class salaried. Okay, uh, okay, salaried employee. I just created. Okay, extends employee. Okay, is it okay? Look, so I provide a constructor. Now look here, employee is a superclass. Sorry, person is superclass, employee is your subclass of the person, and salaried employee is the subclass of your employee class. That means topmost is person, then employee, then salaried employee. So it's a two level inheritance, 0 1 2. Okay, and in a test class, now look here, can I do like this? Salaried employee obj4 is equal to new salaried employee. Yes, 105 name is whatever it is. Okay, salary. Okay, so look here, can I pass obj4 to this display? Yes, I can pass it. But if here I just go like this employee, so obj2 is applicable to this function call, but if I try to do like this obj1, that is showing me error. Why? Look here, the method display is a type test inheritance is not applicable for the argument person. Why? Because the references variable is for the employee and you are trying to pass the object of person class, and superclass object you cannot hold into the reference variable of employee class. So it is a downcasting. So downcasting direct is not possible. You have to explicitly cast it. So I will tell you that later. First we will clear about the upcasting, why we have to provide the upcasting. So upcasting means you have to just provide like this person obj, and for this function, for display function, you can pass any type of object, because reference variable of is a subtype. So any type of means who is a superclass for a person. Now look, what is the output? I will show you here. So what is the output? So it is showing you person 101 ABC. Why it is showing you person 101 ABC? Now here what I passed obj1. What is the value of obj1? Obj1 means is a person. Yes, obj1 is actually it is object of person class. Go to the person. In a person, look at, I am passing this 101 ABC. It is parameterized constructor. That's why this is called. Okay, and showing the output from the person. So person toString gets called. Look here, this statement, SOP statement gets called. That means it is an instance of not employee. It is an instance of, that means this if is not executed, else is executed. Now look here, second scenario. I try to pass a obj2. Now what is your output? Now obj2 is passed here. Now person obj is equal to new employee, because obj2 is a object of employee. So employee 101 ABC 50,000 is passed, and obj is an instance of employee. Yes, it is an instance of employee. Yes, and SOP statement gets printed and this obj printed. So obj is from which class gets called? Obviously from the employee, but it at before to execute it is showing you it is from the person, but it is a compile time. At a runtime, now check the output. Look here, it is from the employee. Yes, it is a runtime polymorphism. Okay, now can I pass here obj4? Yes, I can pass it. Now look here, person obj. Now obj4 is passed. Obj is an instance of employee. No, obj4 is the instance of salaried employee. Okay, and that's why it goes to this else and the obj is printed. Now look here, this is object of salaried employee. Salaried employee having any toString method inside this class? No. So obviously toString gets called from its superclass. In employee there is any toString is available? Yes, it is available. So just check the output, it gets called from the employee or not. I just execute it again. Look at same output but the different values. Yes, because salary is now changed. Yes, because salary is from the salaried employees list, but toString is get called from the employee. So this function called decided at a runtime. Okay, which instance is available, and that's why only single display method is available. If you try to display these things, it is not like a display. Okay, so any type of method you can design depends on type of operations. And there if the multiple objects you want to handle in inheritance for the same procedure, so you have to go with like this. Okay, so I hope you understood this. It's a little bit complicated, but it is very important. Everywhere Java performs this, everywhere. Okay, now I will tell you another example. Who is a superclass for person? Is object. Can I do like this? Yes, can I do like this? It is correct. Yes, it is upcasting. Yes, it is upcasting. Now look the output. You are getting same output. No error, because person class having the superclass by default is the object. So there is any superclass of object? No, there is no any superclass of object, and that's why in Java to perform these tricky operations, the inheritance hierarchy is maintained, and the superclass by default is one class is a object class. So using object you can do it if you don't have any type of class. Okay. Okay. So when you create an object of employee here, actually the object of person is also available to employee. Yes or no? Hello. Yes. If you okay. If you create an object of employee class in inheritance, in case of inheritance, at that time your person objects also available to the employee reference variable. Yes. Yes or no? Okay, now in a testing, our testing example, look here. First, what we are checking, obj is an instance of person or not. Look here, what is the value of obj now is obj2. What is the value of obj2? It is a new employee, but new employee object contains the object of employee as well as the person. So what is the first condition we are checking? If obj is an instance of person or not. So obviously in an employee, the instance of a person is available. So it is a true. It is a true. So that's why this SOP statement gets printed. Okay. So how you will modify for this? So you have to go in a downward approach. Hello. Yes, you have to go with a downward approach is like this. If it is an instance of, sorry, if it is instance of salaried employee, you have to go like this. If you have an instance of employee, so you have to go like this. This is employee, here you have to go like this, else, and this is for, so you have to go with the downward approach, then it will work. If you go with the upward approach, definitely this first if will execute. Okay, because when you create a object of your subclass, at first your superclass object gets created, and that's why this is a true condition. Okay, now you just check it for which object, obj2. Obj2 is for the employee, obviously this gets called. Okay, check the output. Now definitely this is object for the employee gets called, and now we go with the salaried employee, obj4. So now tell me what is the output. Check here, it gives you salaried employee, but object is called from the toString is gets called from the employee, because in salaried employee there is no toString available, correct? Yes. So this for instance of variable you have to go with the downward approach. Good question. It is correct one. Only I forgot to tell you that how it works. Okay. Anything else? Yes. Yes, you check it. I just comment this. Employee toString comment. Save it. Now toString doesn't having salaried employee doesn't having toString, employees doesn't having toString. Now I'm passing obj4. Obj4 is from the salaried employee. Obviously this obj get try to print the toString from the salaried employee, but it is not available. It jumps to this employee. Employee also it is not available. It jumps to its superclass person. Person having the toString. Just check it. Yes. Okay. Now in a person also, if I comment it, now tell me what will happen. Correct. So what it returns you? Correct. Now just check it. Just run it. Showing you hash code. Yes, at the rate 785 something. Okay. And suppose toString is not available in object class, then yes. So obviously it should be available in at least in its superclass. Okay. So now just from this example, this is just a testing example, but have you got the concept of why we have to perform the upcasting first thing, or still you are having any question related to why you have to perform upcasting? If there is no concept like upcasting is available, what will happen? जर upcasting concept is available नसती तर काय प्रॉब्लेम काय फेस झाले असते? Yes. If you want to display such kind of things, you have to provide these specific display functions, multiple display functions. Are you getting what I'm saying? Is like this. Look here. Here you have to go like a person display. First one. If upcasting is not available, then you have to provide the upcasting. Sorry, display for employee. Then you have to go for display salary. Okay. Salary employee. Are you getting? So if this is not available, so you have to, okay, so if upcasting concept is not available, in that case you have to provide a display like this, and this is function overloading. Okay, you have to write the multiple functions for the same approach. Depends on the object if the upcasting is not available. So you basically, with the help of upcasting, you are grouping all these things inside this display. Okay, so basically this is the benefit of upcasting. So this type of function you can write in any class, not in a same class. We are writing this function in a testing class, correct? That means this facility you have to use into your application in any class, and there you should write the code which is capable to hold the objects of any subclass of that super type. Okay, I hope now you clear about the upcasting. Still you are having a problem? No doubt, don't take attention. We will, at the time of abstract class, again we will come back to this point, because this point onwards, every concept or every Java API, most of the Java API is based on upcasting. Okay, so you will get the things again. Look here. I declare employee obj5 is equal to, can I assign like this? Look, it is showing me error. obj5 is equal to obj2. Why it is showing me error? Look here, it is a type of person and it is holding a object of employee. Still it is showing me error. Hello. So how to remove the object of employee from the obj2? Yes, so here you have to do the explicit casting. Look, and this is known as the downcasting. Is it okay now? So direct assignment is not possible because obj2 is a reference variable of a person, but it is pointing to the employee. Still, it is not possible to assign directly. You have to extract your exact object and then you have to store it in the employee file. Now, in this case, tell me how many objects and how many variables, reference variables are available. So this is object, this is object, this is object, this is object. So 4 objects, 4 reference variables. Fifth reference variable. Is it an object? No, it is the same object. So 5 reference variable, 4 objects are available. Is it okay to you? Okay. So this is important. Most of the time for the technical aptitude, this type of scenario is given to you and they ask you, tell me how many objects and how many reference variables are there. Okay. So suppose I do like this, person obj6 is equal to obj1. Okay, now tell me, obj6 is object, newly created object? It is not newly created object. You are directly assigning obj1 object. That means obj1 and obj6 is pointing to same object. Yes. So it is a shallow copy. It is not a deep copy. Okay, because objects are created in a Java that means in a dynamic way. It is not a static way. Okay, so by default no constructor gets called here. So if you want to provide it, what you have to do, you have to do like this. Okay, and you have to provide the specific implementation using parameterized constructor is equal to new person obj. Okay. So you have to provide the constructor for them. Now it is a deep copy. So prepare for such kind of scenarios.